Greetings and welcome from sunny South Africa. My name is Richard Pouncett. I'm here in Johannesburg. I am part of Accenture Strategy and have spent 15 years in the world of business strategy and innovation in the industry of insurance. I partner with Discovery Vitality, and today we wanted to share with you how Vitality is going beyond experience to help people achieve better outcomes in life.
Hello, Richard. Good morning. My name is Yelhis Hernández. I'm here in Mexico. I'm the country manager for Lloyd. And thank you for being here with us. We would like to hear about your experience. So please go on.
Thank you so much. I think so many of us have witnessed how economies around the world have been evolving from product-based economies to service and experience-based economies, and now to what we're describing as outcome-based economies. One video I watched recently from The Economist, which really intrigued me, was evaluating how the music festival industry had completely changed over time. How in 1969, 400,000 people arrived to watch Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Santana, Joe Cocker play a music festival now known as Woodstock 1969. It was phenomenal, but it was all about the product. It was all about the musician. At the time, services such as food stalls and clean toilets and even accommodation weren't really thought about. It was all about the product. We know that since then, music festivals have evolved significantly. Greater focus has been put on the services that we provide the end music goer, the experiences that they provide. But as we look to the future, what's better than experiences? In future, might we be going to music festivals that actually change who we are, make us better individuals? Now, as you look at this analogy of the music festival, you might think, well, how is this related to the insurance industry? Well, we've seen a similar shift as we've moved away from just worrying about what is the product to worrying about what is the service and experience that I give the end customer? What's the digital application look like? What do my websites look like? What's that end customer experience? To thinking about, well, how do insurance companies change who I am, help me achieve outcomes that I want in life, make me a better person? And I think that shift is already starting to happen. One company who've built their business around the idea of helping people achieve better outcomes in life is Discovery and their behavior change platform known as Vitality. For those who don't know, Discovery was founded by two 20-something-year-old entrepreneurs in South Africa in 1992. A few years later, that health insurance business was the #1 in South Africa. Today, it has 44% market share and has completely disrupted the industry. Over the years, Discovery have built out an array of other financial services businesses, from life insurance, motor insurance, investments, banking, most recently, and even moved into adjacent industries. But all the while underpinned by the purpose of Vitality and the concept of shared value. And that is that if I ask you as society and customers to change your behaviors for good, to achieve outcomes in life, and I benefit as insurer, I want to share in that value with you. And so Vitality stands for shared value, helping people achieve better outcomes in life and sharing value with them. Vitality's vision has always been to make 100 million people 20% healthier by 2025, and they're getting a long way towards that. Today, they exist within 29 markets across the globe, impacting the lives of over 20 million people. They've launched in partnerships with companies like Sumitomo Life in Japan, to Generali in Europe, all the way through to John Hancock in the US and Manulife in Canada. The concept of Vitality has always been relatively straightforward, and for 20 years has been based on 4 proven and highly structured capabilities. Know where I am today through a set of assessments, help customers set goals in how they can improve life over time, track their progress towards those goals, and incentivize and reward them for doing that. And it seems unbelievably simple, but I think the brilliance of Vitality is in its simplicity, because these 4 capabilities have allowed Vitality to scale not only within the world of health and wellness and financial wellness, but have been able to use these capabilities to change the way people drive, the way they look after their homes, and potentially in future, even the way we leave a carbon footprint behind or how we utilize plastic. The brilliance behind Vitality also lies in the experimentation and learning in behavioral science. It's 2 decades of learning, 20 years of learning how to use these capabilities to change behavior for good. The way that in assessments they cater for overconfidence, most people believing that they are healthier, fitter, stronger, wealthier than they really are, and that feeling personalized to me. The way that goals are habitual and intelligent and grow in a depth of difficulty. ensuring that a goal might be relevant for somebody getting off the couch for the very first time versus a triathlete who's training for a big race, and how these goals change with individuals and grow with them over a period of time. They've also played with the elements of instant gratification, visualization, social currency to make sure that people continually come back to the application to track progress towards these goals and find it gratifying to see themselves progressing over time. And of course, in the way they reward, a lot has been learned over the years. I think historically rewards were always larger in value, but perhaps 6 or 7 months in the future. And they knew with hyperbolic discounting that people weren't valuing large rewards in the future. So how do you give someone something closer to today that is more tangible and easier to achieve? Silly things like learning that giving people a cup of coffee or a smoothie at the end of the week is sometimes more effective at changing behaviors than somebody getting an airline ticket 6 to 7 months from now. But what if you really stress tested that concept of hyperbolic discounting? What if you gave somebody the reward right up front? And so started the partnership with Apple Watch, where individuals now receive the Apple Watch for free, essentially up front in the program, and are instead paying for the watch where they don't achieve a goal, playing to the theme of loss aversion bias, which has proven to be really effective in changing behaviors. The value that's been realized for life and health insurers around the globe in partnering with Vitality has been significant. Here in South Africa with Discovery Life and Health, we've seen a big increase in sales, positive selection of people wanting to come to Vitality because the product resonates with them. We've seen a change in behavior with people exercising more, engaging more frequently, improving healthy eating behaviors, and lower lapses, ultimately resulting in significant value for the organization. There have been a number of studies done to prove that behavior change is real. The Apple Watch program has shown that people exercise roughly 34% more every month, equating to around an extra 5 days of exercise per month. And all of this has been enabled now by what Vitality have called V1, which is their cloud-based open platform that allows them to scale the platform globally with new partners at a rapid rate, also allowing them to connect an ecosystem of device partners who are tracking behaviors, the Huawei's, Fitbits, Polars, and Garmin's, to the ecosystem of reward partners, whether that be gyms or airlines, movie providers, smoothie and coffee providers, essentially enabling the platform to scale at great pace. What has emerged is the partnership, or what has evolved rather, is the partnership between Accenture and Vitality over the years. Accenture have been partnering with Vitality for the last 7 years or so, but typically in more of a back office digital factory function. We have helped be the digital engine that has helped Vitality grow and scale into new markets. But as we've grown together, we've found that there's greater opportunity for partnership. Firstly, we've realized that there's an opportunity to think of Vitality well beyond health and wellness. Vitality were already starting to do this, knowing that if you could use those capabilities of assessments, goals, tracking, and rewards to change the way people manage their health and wellness, could you use the same capabilities to change the way people drive, using telematics devices to change the way people accelerate, brake, or corner, or use a cell phone while driving, obviously to the benefit of their motor insurance business. More recently, they've been experimenting and launching concepts of financial wellness. How do we, with Vitality Money, change the way that people spend, lend, save, and invest on a day-to-day basis, making them better off financially, improving their financial well-being, which is also to the benefit of the investment banking arms, investment and banking arms of Discovery. What we're now doing as Vitality and Accenture together is we're now partnering to say, well, how can we expand outside of just the insurance industry? How can we think of Vitality as a behavioral change platform with a multitude of offerings around health and wellness, employee well-being, driving, financial wellness, and potentially even climate change, and thinking about taking those offerings to new industries, telcos, software and platform providers, public health institutions, banks around the globe, and even resource and logistics companies. And the list is growing. Essentially, Vitality are bringing their IP and platform around the Vitality solution, and we're bringing our global network and expertise in how to drive behavior change for good. Today, we've shaped a number of new offerings, and I think this partnership will grow and thrive as we start to explore what new behavioral change offerings we can take to the market. One thing that unites us as Accenture and Discovery is our purpose. And we believe that those organizations that are driven by a purpose that are bigger themselves are likely to be successful. For Accenture, it's about delivering on the promise of technology and human ingenuity, improving the way the world works and lives. And for Discovery, it's to make people healthier and enhance and protect their lives. We feel that our purpose is united. This is not about simply taking new products to market or new services or experiences to market. Yes, the products are important. Yes, a good customer service is important. And yes, a great experience delights your customer. But this is about going beyond experiences. This is about helping people around the globe achieve the outcomes they want in life. And in so doing, creating shared value for ourselves, society, and customers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Very interesting. I would like to ask you how this program or this tool app differentiates from the traditional wellness program.
Yeah, I think a lot of organizations have moved into the space of wellness. If we look at it, the world of the Fitbits and Huawei's and Garmin's, it's an industry that's exploding with innovation and technology. I think there's two fundamental ways in which Vitality differentiates itself. One, it doesn't try to compete with any one of those providers. It's not trying to compete with Apple in how Apple tracks activity. It's not trying to compete with Garmin or Huawei. It's not trying to compete with Calm, who are trying to improve mental wellness. Instead, Vitality is acting as the platform that aggregates, as a true platform would, all these device partners together to provide a holistic, overarching view of how people can achieve goals in lives. I think that's the one way. The second way it's differentiating is it's definitely not just a health and wellness platform. Vitality now see themselves, I think, more as a behavior change platform, having a multitude of different offerings that can be brought together in what we call a composite model. So instead of only worrying about health and wellness and your activity, your nutrition and lifestyle behaviors, what if we also help the way you spend, lend, save, and invest? What if we also change the way and improve the way that you drove to work on a day-to-day basis, or change the way that you left a carbon footprint behind? These different offerings of behavior change can be put together in more holistic well-being programs. And I think that's a fundamental differentiator for Vitality.
Okay, so what I see is that people is sharing their personal information. How do you get customers to trust in the platform where they are sharing that personal information, and which is, of course, one of the biggest issues for most of the people?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think trust in the financial services industry has been a big topic for many years, probably ever since subprime mortgage crisis many years ago. I remember working at banks at the time, and most of us worrying about how we were going to maintain trust with customers thereafter, and it's a topic that hasn't gone away. I think what Vitality does is that, one, it's very clear in how your data is used. So the customers are always very aware of the transaction that is going on. They know that they're giving their personal data away, and some of the data is very sensitive. It's my heart rate data. It's what food I'm eating. It's my mental well-being. It's incredibly sensitive to me, but I think people understand how it's been utilized. They understand that it's an insurance company that is trying to improve, their claims and their business, and understand that, but also know that there's an incentive and a reward for the individual doing so. I share my data because I know I'm going to be rewarded and incentivized for doing so, in the form of Apple Watches or smoothies or movie tickets, whatever it may be. And for that reason, I'm happy to engage in the transaction because it's transparent and because I'm aware of how I'm being rewarded for sharing my data.
So that goes direct with the change of behavior, what you just mentioned. It is when I realize that I'm doing changes that are benefiting myself, that are for my own benefit. I mean, that will allow me to do additional changes in my lifestyle, of course, right? So that goes direct. In that sense, how do you get customers to change behaviors, and how they have and how have they developed their own behavioral change capabilities?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the science and the art that goes into the Vitality business. It is founded on behavior change. I think the first key principle is that by no means does anybody believe that we've truly cracked behavior change. It's constant learning, constant testing, constant iteration. So I think the first approach to driving behavior change is to be agile in nature, to test what works and what doesn't work. What Vitality have as a differentiator for themselves is those 2 decades of learning on what mechanisms have been effective in driving behavior change and what haven't. And I think we covered some of them earlier around how they deal with overconfidence in assessments, or how they get the goals to be adaptive and personalized and unique to each individual, to keep encouraging people to come back and not getting bored with the program. The way that it played around with a multitude of different rewards and goal types and gamification to really drive that engagement and find out what works and what doesn't work. So I think the first lesson is that one should take an agile, iterative approach and constantly test what works in the market. The second thing is that Vitality have taken it incredibly seriously, and a lot of effort, time, resources goes into building out those behavioral change capabilities, whether it be with the data scientists and actuaries within the organization who are crunching the numbers, or employing customer-centered, human-centered designers to constantly go out and figure out how designs and experiences are changing behaviors for good. Building out that full set of capabilities is really core to the Vitality business.
Good. And how do you or Vitality ensure that the customer remain engaged and continue returning to the platform? I mean, some people can use it for a while and then probably they will say, it's okay, but my Apple Watch does it and I don't need to go to the platform again. So how you do, or how Vitality do the customer engagement?
Yeah, it's a brilliant question. I think I stand to be corrected on the exact number, but I think something like 97% of all iOS developed apps are deleted after 3 months. For most of us, if we think our own personal lives, there are probably a handful of applications we're using each and every single day, and many others that we're simply ignoring. What has been amazing in Vitality's success is that over 80% of customers continue to engage with them after 3 months of downloading the application. That's phenomenal in a digital world. And I think it kind of talks to many of the behavioral change capabilities as well, but it's the mechanisms you use to keep people coming back, the gamification, the sense of achievement, the completion of a ring, at the end of a week that translates into a goal that creates tangible value for me that I can go and transact somewhere else and get incentive and reward for that. The way that social currency has built its way into the platform, that people compare themselves to one another on the platform. We know that those are reasons why people often come back. We love to compare ourselves with others. The gamification and visualization, I think, is intriguing and it's interesting and it's fun to play around with, and that's something else that keeps people coming back. Again, I would say that this is a continual learning. I think Vitality have been successful. The numbers have told us that they are successful in keeping people engaged, but it's never something you've cracked, and never into perpetuity. You've always got to keep going back to the platform and exploring what more can be done to keep people coming back, and how do you remain competitive.
Good. So how do you meet the needs of the customers to make it, scalable all over the globe?
Yeah, it's another great question. It's a business founded out of South Africa that now has gone global into 29 markets. How do you do that? I think the first thing is there's always a need to localize. I think Vitality understood this very early on. What drives a behavior change here in South Africa is vastly different to what drives behavior change in Japan or in Europe, and always working very closely with the market teams to understand those environments, to understand those cultures, those nuances, and to make sure that the platform is configurable to the unique needs of each society. That's one way. I think the second way is more of a technical answer to this, which is enabled through the cloud. The V1 platform allows Vitality to very easily configure the assessment's goals, the way we track, the way we reward, to the unique cultural differences. And it allows the platform to scale rapidly, reducing time to market for each one of their market clients.
Good. So I saw on your presentation that you briefly touched on the loss ratio. How this the use of this platform is helping the insurers in managing their claims, their losses?
Yeah, so I think it's probably on a few factors. I think one, because Vitality is a purpose-orientated solution, it resonates a lot with those who naturally want to be healthier or are healthier today. So one way in which they benefit is through what's called positive selection. The good customers, the healthier customers, naturally want to come to Discovery and be part of the Vitality platform. But I think it's not just the healthy ones that come, it's also those who want to change behaviors. So you do see that even on the existing portfolio of clients, you do see an improvement in exercise, activity, nutrition. And Vitality have a clear understanding of how certain key behaviors translate into those critical conditions that are most responsible for deaths and claims within the life and health insurance business. And so changing those behaviors has a direct impact on those critical conditions responsible for deaths and claims. And I think that's a second way in which it has created significant value for the insurance business.
So I noticed that you mentioned the risk selection, and for most of the insurance companies around the world, I believe there are certain type of people that are have certain diseases that are not insurable. Does this platform will help for those individuals that are suffering such diseases such as diabetes, for instance, or hypertension, to get access to an insurance?
I can't talk on the access to insurance necessarily. What I can talk about, though, is how Vitality are building specific pathways designed around chronic disease management. So parts of Vitality are being designed to cater for specific needs: hypertension, chronic diseases, diabetes, heart issues and the likes. Certain specific goals and methods to track those behaviors are being built into the program, so that the program also feels relevant for those who are vulnerable and who would benefit from that improvement in behavior change.
Good. And how COVID has impacted the Vitality business around the globe?
Yeah, it's obviously for any insurer, I think COVID has been a massive impact, both from a claims perspective and from the take-up of customers, retention of customers. But I think for Vitality, what COVID has done is it's heightened the importance of it. For those of us who have been in a work from home situation, there's never been a more important time in our lives to ensure that we are getting out and exercising, looking after our mental well-being, make sure that we're eating correctly. So I think what COVID has done is it's elevated the importance of Vitality in people's lives and for their insurance clients around the globe.
Good. And how are Accenture and Vitality partnering to create values in new ways, given the fact that, I think the platform itself contains a lot of benefits, but how do you create value in the future?
So one of the major ways we're partnering at the moment is to think of new behavioral change offerings. We acknowledge that the world of health and wellness has been the bedrock of Vitality, what they've been known for the last 2 decades, but there is a lot more that can be done with the V1 platform. So the way that we're partnering now is to think of new offerings that we could take to market together. Offerings around, for example, financial wellness. How do we change the way that people spend, lend, save, and invest on a day-to-day basis? So how people look after their financial well-being with the concept of Vitality Money, and exploring how we could take this to banks. We're exploring the concept of sustainability. How might we in future change the way people leave a carbon footprint behind themselves, the way they embrace modern day mobility, electronic vehicles, ride sharing and the likes. The way that people better look after their homes is being explored as well. So the major way that we're partnering is to think about creating new offerings together and essentially going to market together to industries outside of life and health insurance. And I think that's what's really intriguing. There are many telcos banks, parastatal organizations that are thinking about trying to drive behavior change for good across their client base or the populations they look after. And so the relevance of Vitality is expanding outside of just the life and health insurance industry. It's breaking that traditional industry boundary. And for a traditionally insurance-oriented company like Discovery, that's very exciting. Vitality allows them to break that mold of only ever being an insurance company and essentially to move into new industries.
Good. So my final question will be how the platform intend to evolve and to make sure that they are breaking those boundaries.
Yeah, I think it's how the platform is evolving. I think is kind of embedded in the last question. I think it is about expanding beyond just health and wellness. Yes, the platform will look to continually evolve and enhance what it does in the world of health and wellness, but it is looking to expand fundamentally outside of that. So the array of different offerings that are being developed that resonate with different corporate clients around the globe is really how I think the platform will evolve in future. As I mentioned, I don't think Vitality is going to be a platform just for insurers around the globe. This will be a behavior change platform that resonates with telcos, banks, public health institutions, and even mining organizations who are looking to change the behaviors of their employees, their miners, their drivers for good. I think if we can think about it this way, any organization in the globe that is trying to change behavior for good, to go beyond experiences and to help people achieve better outcomes in life, will feel that there might be value in partnering with Vitality to be the platform that enables them to do that.
Great. Thank you very much, Richard. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Very interesting presentation, and thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you very much.